Have you ever wondered if the very fruit you eat every morning, the one you've always believed was heart-healthy, could quietly be setting you up for a stroke? Imagine going to bed feeling perfectly fine, only to wake up unable to lift your arm or say a single word. It sounds impossible, right? Yet for thousands of older adults, that frightening moment begins with something as innocent as breakfast. The real threat to seniors isn't always cigarettes, junk food, or alcohol. Sometimes it hides inside the very foods we've trusted most, the so-called golden fruits of health. Sweet, colorful, and rich in vitamins, these fruits seem like your body's best friend. But after 60, under the wrong conditions, they can silently turn against your heart, your brain, and your blood vessels. You've probably heard it all your life. Fruit is always good for you. The more, the better. That belief isn't entirely wrong, but it isn't always right either. What nourishes a 30-year-old body can quietly overwhelm a 60-year-old one. As we age, our kidneys slow down, our metabolism changes, and our blood vessels become more sensitive to sugar, potassium, and acidity. What once healed your body may now quietly harm it, and you might not notice until it's too late. In today's video, I'll reveal 6 fruits that, while seemingly healthy, can secretly increase your risk of stroke once you're past 60. More importantly, I'll show you how to keep enjoying them safely, the right portions, timing, and combinations that turn these fruits back into powerful protectors of your heart, brain, and memory. Before we get started, I want to ask you something. How old are you, and is this video helpful for you? Share your answer in the comments below. Thank you for visiting Senior Health Tips, Healthy Aging, and we'll do our best to reply to each of your questions. Number 6. Mangoes. You'd never expect something as golden and sweet as a mango to be on this list. It's the fruit that feels like a vacation. Juicy, smooth, bursting with sunshine. But here's the truth that might surprise you. 1 cup of ripe mango has more natural sugar than a glazed donut. Yes, you heard that right. The same fruit we call nature's dessert can quietly overload your body's sugar control system, especially after 60. Here's why. Mangoes are packed with fructose, a type of natural sugar your liver has to process before your body can use it. When you're 30, your liver and blood vessels are flexible and quick to respond. They can handle that sweet surge easily. But by 70, the system slows down. Insulin sensitivity drops, arteries stiffen, and your liver can't clear fructose as efficiently. So instead of fueling your cells, that sugar lingers, creating inflammation inside the walls of your blood vessels, tiny cracks that your body tries to patch up with clots. For someone with heart disease, that's like building the foundation for a storm. I once had a patient in Texas, a lovely woman in her late 60s named Linda. Every morning she'd blend a fresh mango smoothie with a bit of yogurt. She believed it was her heart-healthy breakfast, but she was also taking beta blockers and cholesterol medication. Within months, she began feeling lightheaded, her heartbeat occasionally skipping like a record. When we checked, her blood sugar had been spiking right after breakfast, and her medication levels were abnormally high. The mango's natural compounds were quietly slowing her liver's ability to clear the drugs, a sweet habit that had turned risky without her realizing it. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up mangoes completely. It's all about pairing and portion. Enjoy a few slices, not a whole bowl, and eat them earlier in the day when your metabolism is active. Pair mango with Greek yogurt, or a handful of walnuts. The protein and healthy fats help slow sugar absorption, softening the impact on your bloodstream. And if you take heart medication, space it out. Let your body process the fruit first, before introducing the drugs. Mangoes aren't your enemy. They're simply a reminder that even the sweetest things in life need balance. At this stage of life, your body deserves awareness, not restriction, wisdom, not fear. Because if mangoes are the charming tricksters of the fruit world, the next one is even more deceptive. It looks bright, refreshing, and full of vitamin C, but for many older adults, it's quietly canceling out the very heart medication meant to protect them. Number 5. Oranges. A morning glass of orange juice. It feels like the perfect way to start the day, doesn't it? Bright, fresh, full of vitamin C. Millions of Americans do it every single morning, believing it's one of the healthiest habits they can have. But here's the twist most people never hear about. That very glass might be quietly working against your heart medication. You see, oranges, and especially their cousin, grapefruit, contain a compound called furanocoumarin. It sounds complicated, but what it does is simple and sneaky. It blocks an enzyme in your liver that helps break down medications. When that enzyme is blocked, your medication doesn't leave your body as it should. Instead, it builds up in your bloodstream, turning a normal dose into an overdose without you even realizing it. Let's take statins. The drugs millions use to control cholesterol. Normally, your liver filters them at a steady pace, but if you drink orange or grapefruit juice in the morning, that filter slows down dramatically. The result? The drug lingers too long, increasing your risk of muscle weakness, fatigue, and even memory fog. The same goes for blood pressure medications. Their effects can suddenly become stronger, dropping your pressure too low, too fast. You might feel dizzy, lightheaded, or just off, never suspecting your innocent orange juice had anything to do with it. A Mayo Clinic study found that older adults are far more vulnerable to this effect. As we age, the liver's detox enzymes naturally slow down, even without the fruit's interference. So when you add furanocoumarin on top of that, your body can't keep up, like pouring more water into a sink when the drain's already half clogged. I once had a patient who prided himself on his morning routine. 1 glass of fresh squeezed orange juice and a statin pill right after breakfast. He thought he was doing everything right, but after a few weeks, he started experiencing muscle cramps and forgetfulness. The problem wasn't the pill, it was the juice. So what's the safer move? Keep your morning ritual, but swap the juice for something gentler. A glass of warm water with lemon or lime gives you that same fresh start, helps digestion, and actually supports your liver instead of overloading it. You'll still get a light dose of vitamin C, but without the hidden interaction. Oranges aren't villains, they're simply misunderstood. The danger lies not in the fruit itself, but in when and how you mix it into your day. For younger bodies, it's harmless, but after 60, every small detail matters. Because what you think is protecting your heart could, without a sound, be doing the opposite. And speaking of surprises, if oranges are the sweet betrayers, the next fruit on our list plays an even stranger trick. It looks hydrating, cooling, and refreshing. Yet it can quietly thicken your blood while you sleep. Number 4. Watermelon. You probably think that since watermelon is made of 90% water, it must be the perfect hydrator. Nature's answer to thirst. But here's the twist. For older adults, that big juicy slice might be quietly pulling water out of your body instead of putting it back in. Watermelon contains a natural compound called citrulline, which acts as a mild diuretic, meaning it makes your kidneys work harder to flush water and sodium from your body. For younger people, that's no big deal. Their kidneys and blood vessels adapt quickly. But for adults over 60, especially those taking diuretics or blood pressure medications, this effect can double up, leaving the body drier than it feels. You don't always notice it right away. No dizziness, no thirst. But inside, your blood thickens ever so slightly, moving sluggishly through narrow vessels, and in the early morning hours, when blood pressure naturally drops, that thicker blood can create the perfect setup for a silent stroke. A Johns Hopkins study found that many older adults show signs of venous dehydration, a hidden loss of fluid in the bloodstream, even when overall body water looks normal. That's exactly why so many people wake up feeling foggy, unsteady, or weak, even after drinking plenty of fluids the day before. Sometimes it's not how much you drink, it's what you eat before bed that makes all the difference. I remember a patient, Mr. Harris, 68, from Arizona. He loved ending his summer evenings with a big bowl of chilled watermelon. "It helps me sleep," he'd say. But one morning his wife found him disoriented, struggling to stand. The doctors later discovered his blood had thickened overnight. Dehydration triggered by his combination of watermelon, warm weather, and a water pill he took for his heart. It wasn't dramatic or painful. It was quiet. Too quiet. Now, that doesn't mean you have to say goodbye to watermelon. You just need to be smarter about it. Enjoy it during the day, lunchtime or early afternoon, when your body is active and better able to balance fluids. And here's a simple trick I often recommend to my patients. Add a pinch of sea salt and a sprinkle of chia seeds to your watermelon bowl. The salt helps your body retain the water, and chia seeds act like tiny sponges, slowly releasing hydration into your bloodstream instead of flushing it out too quickly. Watermelon can still be your summer friend. It just needs a little respect and timing. Your body at 70 doesn't play by the same rules it did at 30, and that's okay. Awareness is the new strength. And if watermelon can quietly thicken your blood, the next fruit on our list plays an even trickier game. It's sweet, tangy, and tropical, but it can make your blood too thin for comfort. Number 3. Pineapple. Sweet, tangy, and silently thinning your blood. Let's talk about pineapple, the golden fruit that feels like sunshine in a slice. It's sweet, juicy, a little tart, and it makes you feel healthy the moment you taste it. But here's something most people never hear. Pineapple can act like a natural blood thinner, strong enough that doctors sometimes tell heart patients to treat it like aspirin. Sounds dramatic? Let's unpack that. Inside every bite of pineapple is an enzyme called bromelain. It's nature's anti-inflammatory, great for joint pain, swelling, even digestion. But bromelain also makes your blood platelets less sticky, meaning your blood flows more freely. That sounds good, right? Except when you're already taking something like aspirin, Plavix, or warfarin. Suddenly, your body isn't just thinning the blood, it's overdoing it. Here's the kicker. 1 cup of fresh pineapple can contain roughly the same natural blood-thinning power as an 81 ml baby aspirin. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition reported that bromelain can increase how strongly blood thinners work. And in older adults, that effect can last longer because your liver and kidneys process things more slowly. I'll never forget one of my patients, a gentleman in his early 70s who'd survived a mild heart attack. Every morning he'd drink a glass of fresh pineapple juice, believing it was keeping his arteries clean. But after a few months, he started noticing purple bruises on his arms, little ones that appeared out of nowhere. Then one day, a small nosebleed that just wouldn't stop. It wasn't the medicine alone, it was the combination. His healthy habit had quietly doubled the dose his body could safely handle. So does that mean you should give up pineapple forever? Absolutely not. The key is timing and pairing. Eat it in the morning, when your metabolism is most active, and pair it with Greek yogurt or oatmeal. The protein and fiber help slow how bromelain enters your bloodstream. And if you take your heart medication at night, skip the late-night pineapple snack. That's when the overlap becomes risky. Pineapple is still a gift from nature, bright, healing, full of energy. It's not the villain, it just demands respect. Because sometimes even the sweetest fruit can whisper a quiet warning. Too much of a good thing can turn on you when you least expect it. And speaking of surprises, the next fruit on this list looks completely innocent, something almost every older adult eats daily. Yet it's the hidden culprit behind those sudden blood pressure swings you can't explain. Number 2. Grapes. They look so innocent, don't they? A handful of grapes, sweet, juicy, and bite-sized. Most people think of them as the perfect snack, especially for seniors trying to eat healthy. But here's the thing most folks don't realize. A small handful of grapes can spike your blood sugar faster than a can of soda. It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. Grapes are loaded with fructose, a natural sugar that your body processes differently than glucose. When you were younger, your liver could handle that sugar rush with no problem, turning it into energy, keeping your blood vessels flexible. But as we age, that process slows down. The liver becomes more sensitive, and blood vessels less elastic. Add in certain medications, especially those for blood pressure or cholesterol, and that healthy mid-morning snack can turn into a quiet storm inside your body. Now, grapes also contain resveratrol, that famous antioxidant you've probably heard about in red wine. It's true, it can help protect your heart. But here's the catch. Resveratrol only works its magic when your blood sugar and insulin levels are stable. When you eat grapes alone, especially on an empty stomach, that sugar spike cancels out the benefits. It's like trying to clean up a spill while the faucet's still running. I'll never forget one of my patients, Mrs. Turner, a retired school teacher from California. She loved starting her day with a bowl of green grapes while reading her morning paper. It felt light and healthy. But one morning, she suddenly lost her balance. Her words slurred for a few seconds. A mini-stroke, or what doctors call a TIA. She recovered fully, thank goodness. But her blood test later showed a rapid glucose surge and a sharp dip right after, the kind of fluctuation that puts silent stress on the arteries. So how do you keep grapes on your plate without turning them into trouble? Pair them. A small handful of grapes with low-fat cheese, a few almonds, or Greek yogurt helps balance that sugar load. The healthy fats and proteins slow down digestion, giving your body time to handle the fructose properly. And whatever you do, don't snack on grapes when your stomach's empty. It's like pouring sugar straight into your bloodstream. A recent study comparing the glycemic index of different fruits found that grapes can raise blood sugar nearly twice as fast as apples. That doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they need partners. Think of grapes as the lively friend who means well, but needs someone calm to keep things balanced. So next time you reach for those glossy little orbs, just remember, even the smallest things can make big waves inside your body. And speaking of innocent, wait until you hear about the next fruit. One that seems harmless, comforting, even nostalgic. Yet it quietly works against your body's natural rhythm every single night. Number 1. Banana. Who would have thought that something as familiar, as comforting as a ripe banana could ever be linked to heart rhythm problems, even stroke? Yet thousands of hospital records across the country have quietly pointed to this very connection. It's not that bananas are bad. It's that your body, after 60, simply doesn't handle them the same way it used to. Bananas are loaded with potassium, a mineral essential for keeping your heart beating steadily. But here's where it gets tricky. As we age, our kidneys naturally become less efficient. They don't clear out potassium as quickly as before. So when you eat 1 or 2 ripe bananas a day, maybe thinking, it's just fruit, it's healthy. That potassium can slowly build up in your bloodstream. When potassium levels rise above 5.5 mmol/L, it can disrupt the delicate electrical signals that keep your heartbeat regular. Harvard researchers published a study in 2022 showing that older adults with elevated potassium levels were significantly more likely to experience arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats that sometimes go unnoticed until it's too late. I once worked with a patient. Let's call her Margaret. She was 72, healthy, active, loved gardening. Every morning, she started her day with a banana and her heart medication, a habit she'd kept for decades. But one morning, she woke up with her heart racing, dizzy, short of breath. Her tests showed high potassium levels and mild kidney strain. She hadn't changed anything, just aged gracefully, as we all do. But her body's way of handling food had changed underneath her awareness. That story isn't rare. It's quiet, common, and preventable. So here's a gentler, smarter way to keep bananas in your diet without risking your heart. Choose bananas that are slightly green, not fully ripe. They have less sugar, and their starch digests more slowly, helping stabilize both blood sugar and potassium absorption. Pair your banana with Greek yogurt or a handful of walnuts. Both contain calcium and protein that help balance electrolytes. And most importantly, drink a full glass of water before breakfast. Hydration helps your kidneys process minerals more efficiently. Bananas aren't the villain. They're simply misunderstood. What once was your childhood friend can still be your ally, as long as you know its limits and respect how your body evolves with time. And now, before we wrap up, let's take a few moments for something that most health videos never touch on: the two overlooked pieces that can turn all these lessons into lasting change for your heart and your mind. When you were 30, your body could handle just about anything: a slice of pie, a sweet smoothie, even a midnight snack, and bounce right back. But after 60, something changes quietly beneath the surface. The same fruits that once fueled you with energy and health can now leave you feeling tired, bloated, or even dizzy. It's not that fruit has changed, your body has. As we age, our insulin sensitivity begins to decline. Think of insulin as the key that helps sugar enter your cells for energy. In your younger years, those locks worked perfectly. One twist, and the sugar slipped right in. But after 60, those locks start to rust. The keys don't fit as smoothly, and sugar lingers longer in the blood, raising glucose levels faster than before. That's why a banana or a glass of orange juice can send your blood sugar higher than it used to. At the same time, your kidneys, the body's natural filters, lose a bit of their strength. They process minerals like potassium and sodium more slowly. So when you eat high-potassium fruits like bananas or oranges, your kidneys may struggle to clear the excess, leading to irregular heartbeats or blood pressure spikes that seem to come out of nowhere. And then there's the blood itself. With age, blood viscosity, or thickness, increases slightly. If your blood vessels at 30 were like clean, smooth pipes, at 70 they're more like pipes with a thin layer of buildup inside. Now, imagine pouring syrup through that pipe. Even a little bit of extra sugar, including natural fruit sugar, increases the pressure inside. It's not dramatic, but it's enough to affect how oxygen and nutrients move through your heart and brain. Recent studies from Harvard, 2024, Johns Hopkins, and the National Institute on Aging have shown that older adults experience up to 40% slower glucose metabolism, 20% reduced kidney filtration, and 25% higher blood viscosity compared to those in their 30s. Together, these changes explain why even healthy foods, when eaten in the wrong way or at the wrong time, can suddenly feel off for your body. So if you've ever noticed your heart beating a little faster after eating something sweet, even a bowl of fruit, you're not imagining it. Your body is simply sending you a message. Handle me with a little more care now. Have you ever felt that quickened heartbeat after eating fruit? If so, you're not alone, and it might be your body's quiet way of asking for a gentler rhythm. Over the years, I've come to realize that it's not just what we eat that matters, but how we eat it, especially when it comes to fruit. So I came up with something I call the 3V formula: volume, variety, and velocity. 3 small shifts that can make a big difference in how your body handles natural sugar, acid, and nutrients as you age. V1. Volume. Eat with your hand, not your bowl. Your portion of fruit should fit into 1 handful, not a full plate. After 60, your body doesn't need the same rush of fructose it once did. Think quality over quantity. A few perfect bites can nourish you far better than an overflowing smoothie. V2. Variety. Aim for 5 colors a day. Each color represents a different family of antioxidants. Red for your heart, yellow for your eyes, purple for your brain, green for your immunity, and orange for your skin. Mixing colors isn't just pretty, it's medicine in disguise. V3. Velocity. Slow down. Take small bites. Chew thoroughly. Let your saliva do its job. It neutralizes fruit acid before it reaches your stomach and helps your body absorb vitamins more gently. Eating too fast can shock your system the same way pouring cold water on hot glass would. And timing matters too. The best window for fruit is between 6 and 10 a.m., when your metabolism is most active and your cells are ready to use natural sugar as fuel, not store it. So remember this. Your body doesn't need more, it just needs the right amount, the right mix, and the right pace. That's the art of eating fruit. Not like when you were young, but like someone who finally understands what their body's been trying to say all along. You see, these 6 fruits aren't the villains. They're not bad. They just need to be understood differently. At 60 and beyond, it's not about eating less, it's about eating smarter. Knowing how your body has changed and adjusting with care, that's what keeps you strong, sharp, and here for the moments that truly matter. Because a stroke doesn't just steal your memory, it steals mornings. The quiet, beautiful mornings when you could still hold your partner's hand, pour coffee, laugh about something small. And sometimes, prevention doesn't come from a big medical breakthrough. It starts with something as simple as how you choose your banana, your pineapple, or your morning fruit bowl. If this video helped you understand your body a little better, give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Senior Health Tips, Healthy Aging. Here, we don't just talk about getting older, we talk about living fully, aging freely, and keeping every precious memory intact for as long as life allows.